Hi, Himani.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm better, ma'am.
Your face doesn't still look great.
Yeah, a little still low. We have a little swelling here, so probably that cold is there still.
I need to talk to you, Himani, at some point, maybe today or Monday, whatever, after this session. Just
Sure,
about 10 minutes, right?
sure, ma'am. Yeah.
मागे बिल्डिंग दिसते ना तिथे खाण्यासाठी गर्दी असते आणि ते येणं लाईन लावणं म्हणजे शास्त्र पुण्यात पुणे फेमस आयकॉनिक प्रसिद्ध ते म्हणाल ते कमीच आहे या ठिकाणात बर्गर हा टेस्टी आणि खूपच मस्त आहे इथे खाण्यासाठी
Teachers, a lot of educators have not connected via audio. I put in a message on the chat box. May I please request if anyone is your friend, they won't be able to hear if they've not connected via audio. So if you can guide them and help them, I put in a message on the chat box also as to how to connect. Just make sure your audio is connected for you and your friends. Else you won't be able to hear us.
People, you can switch off your videos, but keep the audio connected.
Yeah. It is important that you're able to listen.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I still see 4, 6, 8.
Also, if they're not in formal settings, it's better they keep the video off.
Correct. Around 10 of you are still without audio. I'll just put a message again.
Yeah, one by one they are connecting. It says connecting to audio, connecting to audio. So we'll start at sharp 4, Himani.
Right, ma'am, because we have all the participants joined in already.
Yeah.
So we have a decent number. So sharp another 2 minutes, we'll
Yeah,
start.
exactly. Because this is like concluding session. I think I have a
Yes.
little more number of slides. There are a couple of things I need to highlight today.
Okay.
Yeah, before we close the skill.
But ma'am, we'll bind it up in about 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's why we'll start at 4 so that definitely by 4:55, 5 max, I should be able to.
Finish, right?
Yeah.
Because teachers have a lot of queries with you as well. They always want to, then by the end of the session, they always have so many questions.
Yeah. No, that's why I'll try to wrap up by 4:50, 4:55, so that at least 5 to 7 minutes we can
Yes.
vote for questions. That's why I want to start bang.
No, we have everybody joined. I have already 90 participants here.
Yeah, exactly.
So sometimes what happens is they take time, but given their holiday time, I think everybody was. Today I got a message in the group right at 3:30. Have we begun? I said, see, this is what happens when we have time. And otherwise we're running from school and.
Yeah. Now they are probably more relaxed and,
Yeah, true. So now the day's agenda is attending the commune. So teachers, if anybody has any questions from last time also, I think it will be nice if you can already put it in while we are waiting. We still have a minute to go.
Yeah.
So if at all, so we'll be prepared for it.
Yeah. Himani will keep making a note of this.
I'll keep a track of all of them.
Yeah.
And we'll pick them up as soon as we end the session. Hello, good evening. All right. So I see a lot of teachers have already joined. We're touching 100 already, and sharp. I really am appreciative that people have joined on time today. This is always the best thing is punctuality. When you can begin on time and you can do the maximum in the given stipulated time. So today we'll be talking about a very good evening to everyone, and we'll be talking today about craft of writing part 2. So last time we began with craft of writing. You had a couple of questions and we were able to answer. Oh, somebody's attending from UK also. Welcome, sir. So we did a lot of things last time when we did craft of writing. We began with the first session, and to culminate it and to add on to whatever was left last time, we have this craft of writing part 2, and we also saw a lot of interest amongst everybody to learn more about how to get students to write more effectively. So we understand that in the LSRW chain, writing is equally an important part, rather an important and a difficult thing to get the students to do. So for that, craft of writing part 2 has been scheduled with Sudha ma'am. Everybody by now knows Sudha ma'am. She needs no introduction. Her sessions are well paced, super organized, and very illustrative and explanatory. So without further ado, I'll hand over the stage to ma'am. One thing that I would like to mention here is that we'll share the feedback link for the feedback for this session in the chat box on Zoom, right? You can copy it, you can use it to fill it up later on. And teachers who would have not received the certificate or anything will take up all the queries on Monday. Rest assured, we want to give you certificates. It's not that we don't want to give anybody a certificate, right? So we will definitely share the link once again on Monday. This being a weekend, so even my team is not available to help you out. So kindly give us that kind of time to be able to help you on Monday. So I hope everybody is with me on that. Give me a thumbs up for the same. So I'm a little confident that everybody is with me. Otherwise, it's just I get like so many messages. This is not working. That is not working. This didn't happen. It doesn't help. Even for me, it's a weekend. For the entire team, it's weekend. Whom do I connect to help you? So I keep feeling bad that I'm not able to help. Right? We'll share. Thank you so much. I get a lot of thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you so much for all the support from your end. And rest assured, I want each and every teacher here to get a certificate. That is one of my jobs, right? A part of my job. Thank you so much for understanding. And with this, Sudha ma'am, over to you.
Thank
I
you. Thank you.
think I'll hand over this. I'll make you the co-host.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you are, ma'am. You can share your screen. Ma'am, I'll just mute everybody once.
Yeah.
No, all, ma'am, everybody is muted. Teachers, you're all muted. Please put your questions in the chat box. I'll keep on taking them, rest assured. So, ma'am, please, you can continue.
Good evening, all of you. And this is the concluding session today of the craft of writing. You can see my screen?
Yes, ma'am. A nice cake, making everybody
Yeah.
hungry by this time.
Exactly. So you can keep dreaming and, you know, keep having salivating rather about it. Right? So just let me, yeah. Okay. So teachers, I did put up this narrative writing last time. So what did we see last time? Just let us quickly, in a minute or so, recap. We talked about what is writing, why writing becomes a challenge, what happens. I showed you some visuals, and then I gave you words, and we discussed which was better, right? And the process of writing and the four main components when it comes to assessing writing, right? So these are the things that we discussed. And when we say writing is a challenge, the reason is also this, that there are many types of writing. You know, it is not just that you pick your pen and paper and then you start writing. It doesn't work that way. So there is the narrative style, there is the information type of writing, there is analytical writing, there is, information transfer writing. When there is, for example, in class 10 board and even in international exams, you get some figure. It could be a graph, it could be a pie chart, and then you find that you have to kind of, first go through it, understand it, and then describe it. So you have where you are converting data given in a graph or in a pie chart into a paragraph, and putting it out there, comparing, using comparatives. So much was spent last year, but this year more was spent. It was lesser than the previous year. In the COVID year, it was much lesser. This year, it's really touched a peak. So the right kind of words when you're describing comparisons, these are all big challenges. Even adults in various fields find it very difficult to write. Writing a leave application. I have seen companies like Infosys and Wipro share with me the kind of leave applications their employees write. And it's funny, and you must have seen all this doing the rounds even on social media, that how youngsters are writing applications for leave. So see, the challenge is there, and let us first accept it. Let us first accept many of us find it difficult to write. We are not very happy about writing, okay? We are willing to speak, we are willing to listen, we're willing to put it down, point-wise, everything. But elaborative writing is difficult. But then it has to be done. Writing, whether you use a computer to write or you write on a piece of paper, that is not what is important. Important thing is you have to write, and you have to train your children to different styles. So when we say narrative writing, okay, what is it? Narration, that is, you are describing an event. Topic: coolest birthday party. Okay, so there is a brainstorming list: holiday, birthday, adventure parties, movies. So you have everything. You can make a list when you give this kind of topics to your students also. You see, coolest birthday party can be written from class 4 onwards. Only the language will be simple, sentences will be shorter. Children, whatever they express, you can help them put it in their notebooks. So it is, and a coolest party can be even described by an 18-year-old, right? What's stopping an 18-year-old to write a coolest birthday party essay or paragraph, right? So What I'm going to show now is called a checklist. Okay. So when you do any kind of writing, what is a very good thing to do? It is to prepare a checklist. See, train students in all these things. When you train, then they deliver. When we don't teach, they don't deliver. Just telling them, okay, children, today we are going to write about the coolest birthday party you attended. What all do you think you will write? So one child will shout, ma'am, cool drinks, ma'am, ice cream, ma'am, 10 people, lot of games, clown, magic show. Okay. So you say, yes, good points. And then you start writing. Okay. So session. So then that just doesn't make any sense in the head of the child. Okay, they know all this, but then we have to put it in the right order. We have to give it direction. So these all can be put as on the board. Half of the board you can cover with all these words. Maybe make a mind map, a graphic organizer, a tabular chart, divide it and say, okay, nouns, party, okay, cool drink, everything, you put it, give it labels, say noun, dance, danced. Okay, so put it in different blocks. So derive a method to put whatever they tell you in an organized fashion. Okay, first step. Then introduction with an exciting beginning. Put this down. It's the checklist. You don't have to tell them we are doing narrative writing. All this jargon is for you and me. Okay, so birthday party checklist. Okay, introduction with an exciting beginning. Topic sentence for each new paragraph. So how many paragraphs do you think we should write? Okay, 3. What should be there in the first paragraph? What should go into the second? What should go into the third? So for each paragraph, you can, guide them towards one. So initially, if you do all this in the class with their knowledge, then there is involvement. They become part of the process. Okay. Then details of the event, deleted irrelevant details. So they are preparing a checklist. Okay. Then certain things can be irrelevant. Okay. Then my papa and mummy came and we went to the park to play. Okay, that can be a closing statement. Then at the park, we met this. So, while writing, you generally see people at some point will totally change direction. They will lose the focus and they will go off topic. That's called going off topic. So to maintain them, to keep them on track, it is important that we teach them relevant details and irrelevant details. That is staying on the brief. The brief is about celebrating coolest party. You want to end it by saying that my dad came, my mom came to pick me up, that's fine. But the thing ends there. What you did after that is not part of the coolest party. Now, this has to be told. What are the transition words? Things like, firstly, we did this later. First, my friend cut the cake. It was a nice, big, huge cake. And it had 10 there were 10 candles. He blew it up at one go. Okay, so firstly, secondly, then in the box that you put on the board, nouns, transition words, tell them what are transition words. From when you move from one step to the other, such words are called transition steps. Then organize to flow smoothly. So once topic sentences are decided, then organizing those topic sentences, which should come first? What should come first? Will you write the last paragraph first? No. Why not? Because it is closing. It talks about my leaving the party. Okay. Then concrete words and description. Okay. Then conclusion to finalize the whole narration, right? Then complete sentences, proper capitalization. Here, see, all your grammar checklist is coming. So children, notice when you write, don't write incomplete sentences. Start your sentences with capital word. Put a full stop after each sentence. Use the verb correctly. I enjoyed. You are writing it after, so use past tense. Okay, I enjoyed the party. I ate a piece of cake. I had a glass of juice. Okay, proper verb usage, correct punctuation. So I did this means there is going to be commas. Okay, then check spelling. So imagine that how you are guiding your children at each step. Then you see how they write. Okay, instead of saying they don't write, they don't know, how will they know? Has anybody ever taught them all this? Has anybody done this kind of an effort with them? If you do, you will get results. And if you are doing, I'm sure you are one of those who is getting some kind of, good feedback from your students. Please understand, as I said, writing no one likes. You ask them to talk, ma'am, can I talk about the birthday party? You will have such students in the class. No, I know you like to talk. I will definitely listen to it. But today we are going to write about it. See how easy I'm going to make writing to you guys. Don't worry. It's going to be just actually a cakewalk. You can say that to them. And then what's a cakewalk? That will come up. So you see, board work, whiteboard, whatever, smart board, ordinary blackboard, whatever you have to use it. You have to make writing an interactive class. You cannot just give a topic, take a few. No, I do brainstorming. What brainstorming? I ask them whatever words and then I let them write. Then after 10 minutes, okay, close the notebook, do it as homework and bring it tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. Very few submit the work. They are the intelligent ones. They are the motivated ones. Their work will always be by and large good. What about the middle ones and the ones who really need your help? How will you come to know? You come to know their performance finally in a test or an exam, and it is pathetic. So then whom are you going to blame? Who are you going to find fault with? How are you going to pin down? So even if you want to do all that, you need to have data to show that these are the things that were done in the class, and see his writing. You have sufficient proof. See, there was a time when we were all students, and I'm sure many of you sitting here would agree, even when you were students, there used to be something called as class work. I have done it as a teacher myself. My students' classwork notebook would be complete by the end of the session. They would have done so much writing. See, writing is important. Even ask them to write 4 lines, dictation, spelling, spell check test. Dictation can be called as a spell check test, right? So verb, present to past, make them do. Which are the verbs in that lesson? Which are the verbs in that writing task? So teachers, you have to really do lot of planning, break your activity, break your writing task. Okay. So writing has a process. Okay. The steps pre-writing. Okay. Who was the party for? What time of the day was the event? Idea, start with something surprising. Then relevant details, event, describe arriving to the location, use sensory details. So depending upon the class you're dealing with, what did you see? Okay, how did you feel? These are sensory details. Oh, I was very happy. All my friends were there. Beautiful decoration, colorful decoration. What happened at the party? Can you include a simile or a metaphor? What was the most exciting? So see, you are breaking for every question. When the child gives you an answer and you start putting on the board, okay, couple of initial writing tasks. Now that your sessions are going to begin, you will have to really do a lot of hand holding. You will have to do it the way I am suggesting to you. Okay, only then it will work out. Then see transition words, beginning, later, end, after, next. Okay, closing sentence, how did the party end? It ended with my friend's dad bursting balloons or sending balloons in the air. We all were given one balloon, gas balloon, and all of the balloons were sent up. They were tricolor balloons, whatever you want to say. What were your final thoughts on the party? Really enjoyed it, had fun time with all my friends. Next month is another friend's party. I'm really looking forward to it. Just 1 or 2 sentences. End the story with a bang. Okay, so what are the important aspects of writing? I told you all that day. Content, fluency, accuracy. Now, you all know you're all by and large CBSE school teachers. Today, everybody is talking about competency-based assessment. What is competency? These are competencies. If somebody is a fluent writer, fluency is a competency. Accuracy is one competency. So in writing, each time you can assess one competency. You can say that this time I'm only going to assess your spelling and grammar. I want to help you develop your spellings and grammar. That could be one test. Simple. 5-mark classwork. Are they able to write the verbs correctly? Are they able to use past tense? Okay. Are they able to develop? You can give the first line of something, the first beginning, and then you can give the last line, and in between they have to fill. Are they fluent? Does it make sense? Does it flow, or is it haphazard? So you can train them in each one of these, and each one of these becomes a competency. In speaking, pronunciation is one competence. Okay. Speaking, grammar is one competence. Okay. Flow of language. All right. The vocabulary used. Right. So what goes under content? Ideas, topic sentence, supporting ideas. So this is the way, teachers, you have to break your content. Please understand that is really important. Okay. So first the ideas, you remember that previous slide for narrative writing, what I showed. So first that, and then, for each, then break it. There's an overall idea, there's a topic. Okay. Birthday party, summer holidays. Okay. All these are topics. Then within that, so, once you teach them right from the beginning, you train them like this. They know what will go in first paragraph, what will go in second paragraph. Very, very important. Even adults today don't know how to write. Emails are so shoddily written. It takes time to make sense of what that person is saying. Adults working in good positions in private organizations are writing emails which cannot definitely save their life. So what is fluency? Fluency has two elements, coherence and cohesion. So we talked about transition words. They are also called as cohesive devices. Words, phrases which are used to join paragraphs, to join ideas within a paragraph. Okay. Those are called cohesive devices. Cohesion, what does the word in general mean? Coming together. So it is not separate. It is not that one paragraph is something else. So it's all over the place. Cohesion is coming together. Coherence is flow or the progression between sentences. Within a paragraph, are the sentences in the right order? Let us say you have identified topic sentence for each paragraph, and each paragraph has clear-cut topic sentence. But within that paragraph, the ideas are not properly organized. Then what is missing? Coherence is missing. So please go, and in these vacations, after this session also, go and read up all these things. Okay, just pick the CBSE, I think the assessment document, even that has these words. You have to be totally thorough and up to date and upskilled. Okay, at some point in our life, we might have done a BA or an MA English and done a B.Ed, right? Actually, an MA English literature does not talk of all this. What we are teaching students is language, teachers. We are teaching, developing their language skill so that they start loving the language. They become comfortable with the language. Then they automatically will start reading short stories, novels in English. Then it will develop in them a love for literature. Okay. Yes, we have a literary book. We have some poems. We have some prose. Do it by all means. But first develop their 4 skills. Only then they will be able to appreciate the language used by a Robert Frost, okay, or a Williams Wordsworth, or H.W. Longfellow, any author for that matter, even your Ruskin Bond. Why go that far? If you need to appreciate what they are writing and the finer nuances, the way similes and metaphors are beautifully embedded what they write, personification, alliteration. These are all finer language aspects, right? But if they have to appreciate this, they first should know language. But we are expecting them to understand all that without giving them the base. It is like wanting to build a 20 floors without having a nice, well embedded foundation, which is quite deep into the earth. If it has to be 20 floors, then it has to be more than 10 feet. I mean, quite about 100 feet into the ground, the base, right? Assessing accuracy, we are talking of assessing grammar, spelling, word choice, word appropriacy, the right word at the right place. And when we say word appropriacy, so for example, you want to use the word, the right form, okay? Encouragement is a noun. You want to use encouragement in that place, or you want to use encourage, which is a verb. So the appropriate words, the word form, congratulation, he congratulated. Congratulation is a noun. Okay. So word appropriacy, do they know to use that is why now I'm sure you understand why writing becomes so very challenging. Okay. So there are multiple aspects. Now, assessing accuracy can be one competence. You can have a small formative test where you have done, let's say, a lesson. You want to do some writings, let us say a story writing activity. Okay. Now, in story writing, you can't really judge the content. Every child will have its own imagination and they will go totally, they will go out of the box. Let them write what they want. But you can tell them that I'm not going to say whether your story is good or bad. Everybody's story is good. But I'm going to look at grammar. I'm going to look at the spelling of the words and whether you have chosen the right word. These are the three things I'm going to assess out of 5, out of 8, out of 10. And give them the breakup. Tell them in advance. Tomorrow we are going to have a test and these are the things I'm going to assess. I'll be asking you to write something. Don't worry. Just be relaxed and happy. It can be even done as a surprise test. Certain schools still have the practice of doing surprise tests. I don't know. We used to always get surprise tests. Our teachers took a lot of pleasure, I must say, sadistic pleasure in giving us a surprise test all the time. Okay, so that can be one competence. So you can show it under competency-based assessment. Now, what will that small one paragraph tell you? Whether he writes 3 paragraphs or a child writes 1, you will come to know whether his spellings are in place, whether he knows how to use the prepositions, conjunction, his verb, the verb form. 50 words will tell you everything about a person. Okay. The person doesn't have to write 500 words before you assess. I'm sure you all agree with me on that, right? So that being the case, now when you assess, it is easy for you to assess short writing. Then if there are kids who are making mistakes in grammar, then what is the point telling them to write a letter or write something really, a complicated writing activity? So first, check their grammar. Give them corrections. Give them lists. Tell them that this is, whether printed list or as PDFs. Now today, see, we all have to start thinking out of the box. Now we have been doing these webinars, isn't it? LSRW, 2 into 4, 8 sessions. We started sometime last year. And I'm sure you all have had a good time, enjoyed, understood. So send it as PDF to the parents with a little note. Okay. What are the verbs that they are likely to use in that class? So teachers, understand one thing, that instead of standing in the class and wasting our throat, do a lot of planning in advance. Your planning should be down to the last detail. This is one thing, whenever I've traveled to the US and I've had the opportunity to visit schools there, I have found the copious notes that those teachers come with, the amount of detailing, the instructions that they put up for kids, depending upon the age, obviously. Simple, direct, but step-by-step instruction. We have to master that art. We can't just enter the class and just kickstart. Our notes with instructions should be very, very much in detail. Give instructions, make them work. We are there to see them learn. We are not there to teach. Just flip the whole thing. Okay. Look at everything as how will my students learn? And then start your preparation. You will get the method. But if you say, how am I going to teach? If the focus is on teaching, then you are looking at it from your perspective. A 35-year-old, a 40-year-old, 50-year-old, a 20-year-old. But when you say that it is from the student's perspective, how will they learn? Which means you have dropped the balls and you are thinking as a 6-year-old. You're thinking as an 8-year-old. You're thinking as a 10-year-old. And then it will be crystal clear in front of your eyes. How should your planning be? So now this can be part of your lesson planning, where you say, these are the competency-based assessments I'll do. If there is a lesson which has a lot of parts, then which means before you go to the next lesson, their concept of past tense should be very clear. Use that lesson to make them write one small answer and see whether they are able to use past tense, past perfect tense. Let us say there are a lot of difficult words, where the spellings do not follow any order. Okay. Then make a list of those words. Ensure they use it. Give dictation. Dictation is a competency-based assessment. Do you know that? So, see, the words are big. Don't get lost in, oh, CBSE is asking us to do competency-based assessment. कुछ नहीं कह रहा है. बस competence क्या है, right? To give you a very simple example, in a kitchen, okay, if you are getting ready to cook, okay, now, and you're going to have, let us say, 10 people, and you're getting a big meal ready, 3-4 items. What is one competency? One competency is, did you make the list of all the ingredients that you need? Okay, made, got. Next, are your dry items, wet items, basically the raw ingredients in right order? Do you know where they are, or are you rushing? One thing is in the fridge, one is here, one is, or have you nicely on the platform put, okay, the rice, the dals at one place, the vegetables there, so that whichever you're picking. So content is all the ingredients. Organization is your tabletop organized well. Then here draft would be cutting your vegetables, getting it ready. And then what you do when you're cooking, you taste a bit, right? And then you edit it, you add. The salt is more, there are ways to set it right. Okay, the salt is less, no problem. And then you get your dish ready. Okay, that is all it is. All right. But then, are we aware of each of these steps? So your organization can be one competency. You can say, I want to see how you organize your content. So at that assessment, you should not bother what the content is. Focus on organization. So like this, when you take one bit, then it becomes easy. Now, when somebody is getting a meal ready, obviously that person is a competent cook. They have invited 10 people. But can you expect a 15 or an 18-year-old who's just learned cooking to host a meal for 10 people? Would you ever risk? Maybe if she's your daughter or son, you might ask them to help you, assist you in the kitchen. But can they get a meal for 10 people ready with a starter and a main course and dessert and everything? No, it is like that. We are just throwing the ingredients and expecting them to dish a meal without teaching them any of these steps. This has always been my worry, my concern, And this is how I used to teach writing in my classroom. Way before any competency, any CC, anything came. My students, at any time of the day or night, you wake them up and say, write a notice, they will not make a single mistake. I had taught them that way. So we have to take pride in ensuring that our children know they have learned the skills. The focus today is so much on skills, isn't it? So it is important that we teach them all that. Now, the next type, narrative, we're looking at opinion writing. So when we say opinion writing, let us say, who is the funniest person? Can be the topic, right? Opinion. Where is the nicest place to live? So my nicest place to live could be the Himalayas, but your nicest place to live could be an urban city. Somebody's could be a Goa, the seashore, right? What is the best type of music? So these are personal opinions. Now here there is nothing right or wrong. You are encouraging students to just, share their opinion, to express their opinion freely, frankly in the classroom. So, and if they say that my favorite music is jazz, the thing that we have to teach them is your opinion can be anything. But when you talk of a funniest person, you should be able to say why you think that person is funny. Do you have any anecdote or any incident which you saw, or a movie that you saw, or multiple movies that you saw, where you found him performing comic roles and doing it so well? Okay, so where is the nicest place? You can't just up and say, okay, the nicest place to live is Himalayas, and that's the end of the story. No. You get my point, right? So what is the best type of music? What rule should or should not be in school? Okay, so you can have these. Some student may say that we should have the rule that there should be no uniforms. Somebody else would say, no, we should have uniforms. So ask, there are two opinions now in the class that is emerging. So ask each one of them to express. Then once they have verbally expressed this, now say, okay, how would you put it down? So here there is nothing right or wrong. This is my opinion. Why I think so, elaborate on it. Okay, so opinion writing in that sense. So there can be so many. Okay, I've just put what makes you laugh, which one of your friends or family members can always make you smile, what is the funniest movie or television show in your opinion, what kind of jokes make you laugh. So depending upon the class that you're handling, you can have multiple topics, do these kind of things in the class once a week. That keeps the tempo going, that makes them feel happy that you're taking their opinion. Imagine, and you are not commenting negatively about their opinion at all. You are saying, okay, you have that opinion, elaborate. That's all I want. I want to know why you think so. Nothing else I want to know, right? So that is what we have to train them, right from a very, very, as I said, class 3, 4, from 4th, 5th onwards, you can do opinion writing, okay? So when we say the funniest person I know, an appropriate opening statement could be, I know a person, the funny person is, or the funniest person I know is. Do you know what a funny person does? Then you can ask them, I know many funny persons. When we present our opinion, we can say, one reason why I think he is a funny person. This funny person makes everyone laugh. He tells many jokes. That is why I think he is funny. Many people think he is funny. So in junior classes, even these kind of simple statements, see, push them to think in these lines. Don't you find that children, when you ask them such questions, they just give you one answer and then they are quiet. They don't know how to expand, even while speaking. So then how do you train them? Do you say, don't you know? Don't you know? No, we are not supposed to ask that question at all in the class. Okay, can you tell me why you think he's funny? And when you ask that question, give them at least 15 seconds to think. If they just start thinking, immediately you go to the next student, somebody else who is raising their hand, because you want to complete the topic. You are in a hurry in the class. Then this child feels left out. Oh, ma'am, I'm speaking, ma'am. Okay, okay. Next time. So easily we do all this in the class without realizing how it is affecting their attitude, how it is bothering them. If you ask a question, even in workshops, when I ask a question, and if somebody raises their hand, I wait for that person. I give them 15 to, because they are collecting. What are we doing at that point? We are collecting our thoughts, isn't it? Now, when I put this question, I'm sure most of you sitting there are thinking, what would I say? Who is the person? So your mind has already started working. The same thing happens with the child, na baba. So how are you going to help them? By giving them that opportunity. Okay, right? One reason, this funny person. So you can put these kind of starting statements on the board. Okay, and give them that impetus, push. Okay, so story writing is a creative process. We all know that. How can we effectively attempt to write stories? One good way to start this is by creating a personal story. Always, today when I got stuck in the rain, this is what happened. This kind of a beginning helps us to collect our thoughts and ideas. What happened today when you were coming to school is a story. Story is not always about an animal. It's not always about the rabbit and the tortoise, isn't it? The hare and the tortoise, or the bird story. It is about anything and anybody. What we have to teach them is to be open, is to be creative, is to let their imagination run riot. See, today, when people, what do they do when they write programs, software programs, etc.? It's all the result of a creative mind. You have to constantly think, isn't it? All our inventions, all the discoveries, the chat GPT, the AI, everything is the result of somebody thinking differently, somebody thinking creatively, somebody giving wings to their dreams, to their aspirations, and to their silly thoughts. Maybe somebody at some point told them, hey, this thought sounds silly. And today, if we have all seen chat GPT, you just say, you just put a question there before you end, how fast it types for you. So see how amount of work that would have gone in it, and amount of mistakes that person would have made before the final version got out, and now it's out there in the open. It all starts here, teachers. Creativity of a child should never be stifled. CBSE is openly talking about bagless days, or talking about reducing the load, because quality is more important than quantity. I have always maintained, and wherever I have worked, I have said it in very, very clear terms, that till class 8, completion of syllabus is important, but that is not the sole criteria. Quality is the driving force. Whatever we envisage to do, which is part of our syllabus, sit and draft the curriculum, no? The book is there with you, but draft it. Sit, all the teachers of class 6 sit together, plan what should go into this month, what writing will we do, what emerges out of the book, how can we extend it, how can we bring out the creativity of our children, what can be part of speaking, what can go into writing. These both are expressive modes, isn't it? Both speaking and writing are expression. When we speak, obviously there's somebody listening. When we write, there is somebody who is reading, isn't it? So how are we going to do that, right? So story writing like that is a creative process. It has nothing to do with it. It can be totally, the content can be totally, absolutely stupid. Okay. But that's how Harry Potter sold. What did she write? About a station, 3/4, 1/4, something, all that. Huh? And she created characters, and how children loved them. How, I remember my son was in the US at that time. doing his master's. And when I think the third or the fourth book released, and we had landed just 2 days before, he told his friend to take care of us that day. He told him, please take them out. And today I will finish the book, because my daughter was here in India and they both would, and their time difference, they both had to read, because otherwise this girl will tell him. So that crazy they were as adults reading Harry Potter. How many million copies she made, and that woman made a killing out of being totally stupid, if you want to call it. But what was it that kept everybody glued to her writing was her total command over the language. Isn't it? She created magic. She created things that never exist. Okay? But the control was on the language. So when we talk creative writing, we are talking of setting, plot, characters, the theme. Okay, and all this can be worked around as a group activity. You can have discussion, brainstorm, and then as group they can come up with a story. And you can say, okay, in a group, A is in charge of vocabulary, B is in charge of grammar, C is in charge of seeing whether there is plot, there is this. Okay, they all can be in charges, so they feel so charged up. See, your job is to create that environment, that ambience where learning is happening, and even where writing is fun. Writing is not something that they get bored with. Okay, so you can work with story prompts written on pieces of paper. Once a school had invited me, and I spent 3 hours with class 5 students. I'm not kidding. In those 3 hours, not even a single student got up even to visit the washroom. And I did story writing and storytelling them. I gave them strips. I gave the first student, I wrote on the first strip, and then from the second, that I showed, and from the second strip, they were made to sit in a semicircle. Okay, and the second strip was given to the first. So then he kept on attaching. So the first strip, it was all put on a big chart paper. So there were strips. The first student wrote on strip number 2. First was already there, then 3, and then it went round. So the last student had to read all the strips and write the end. All total crazy things they wrote. Total crazy things. Okay. What was important was whether those sentences were correctly written, whether they made at least grammatical sense. You may say that, there were lollipops hanging on trees. But if you say there was lollipops hang on trees, it's grammatically incorrect. Then the reader doesn't feel it's funny, because he is getting lost in the incorrect grammar. So I hope that makes sense. So when we say pre-writing, I'm going back to these. You might find that I'm going a little back and forth, but I really want to nail it for you guys. Are there any questions at this point, Himani? No, I guess.
No, ma'am. We've not received any questions in the chat box. If you want, we can wait, pause for like a minute, maybe 10 seconds. If anybody has any questions so far, I'm on the chat box.
Yeah, already something is coming.
We are simply soaking in spellbound. No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Okay, so when we say pre-writing, see, I've put this whole graphic organizer. You can see the writing process. First, what is the first step? Understand the assignment. Everybody, I say this to adults when I do even corporate trainings, I tell them first understand, read the question. Like somebody said, soak in the question. Read it, reread it. There is one which is called as the statement. Every question will have 2 parts, isn't it? For suppose a question says that these days, too many children are putting on weight because of junk food. Now, this is the statement. It is not the question, isn't it? What do you think are the reasons? What are the solutions? So first, understand what the statement talks about. It says, today too many children are eating junk food. Process that statement. Now, put 2 arrows. Question number 1 is, what are the reasons? Okay, then solution. Okay, then you connect reason and solution with a double arrow, right? So understand the assignment, gather ideas and form a working thesis. So that's called the statement of thesis, right? Or thesis statement. Today, a lot of children are obese because they eat junk food. Okay, that is the thesis statement. So gather ideas. Now itself, I told you, have the reason and the solution. Then write a draft. Then put down the reasons, elaborate on the reasons. Elaborate on the solution. This is the reason, this is the solution. This is the reason, this is the solution. Revise. See whether your sentences are correct. Proofread, edit, final draft. Even adults don't do this. Everybody thinks, oh, I am a lala do. I know I can write so well. So they write the email and send it. And there are mistakes. So, can we do this, please? Can we check what we write? While typing, we may make a typing error. It's okay. But check before pressing on that send button. It's good. So that the receiver, see, the first, thought that comes to the receiver's mind when he sees an email which has mistakes, what does it show? It shows our attitude. Lackadaisical approach. Our attitude is, it's okay, big deal. You made a mistake? Yeah, sorry. I mean, I was in a hurry, I had to send you the mail. This is the kind of replies we get from people who are entering the industry. I mean, I cannot imagine giving this reply to anyone, even today. So, are we okay to be incompetent people? These are the questions we all have to ask ourselves. Any profession, all this is very generic, right? So if you don't want incompetent people in the industry, any industry, education, marketing, any finance, these children should be taught all this because they are the ones who are becoming all that. They are not jumping from somewhere, no? It is these children whom we have trained. Receive feedback, revise if needed. Nobody likes feedback. Nobody likes to revise. So because today adults, obviously as adults, they don't like. But if we had trained them right from the age of 9 or 10, they would have understood this is the process. Today when seniors or bosses give feedback, people leave jobs. ये बहुत feedback देता है. Isn't that nonsensical? Nonsensical, sorry. So, topic sentence, state your opinion on the topic. How do you know this person? Use opinion words like I strongly believe, without a doubt. What makes you laugh? Do you think other people will agree with you? Why? Why does this person stand out? So everybody at my home also likes this person. They all agree with me that he is one of the funniest person. And this is the reason. Why does this person stand out to you? So you've seen many comic actors, but this guy stands out. For example, Johnny Lever comes to my mind immediately. And there are so many from the days of Mahmood, Johnny Walker, and to Johnny Lever, and to, I cannot remember. I can remember these 3 names. Johnny Lever stands out for me because his humor, straight-faced humor. Right? The way he says what he says. Okay. Everybody, doing humor is very difficult. Making others laugh with a straight face is very tough, isn't it? So do you have anyone to compare this person to? See how you have to literally break. See, when you teach children to put a jigsaw puzzle together, what happens in a jigsaw puzzle? You have to break it, no? You start from one piece somewhere, you identify this is the piece, and then you keep adding. Wherever you make mistakes, you keep replacing the piece. You don't give the whole thing like that. Then it's not doing a jigsaw puzzle. So break everything into its constituent elements. Please understand, human brain can process little information. Children can process chunks of information. Don't give anything as a whole to them. Can you, if I give you a nice big apple and I come and give it to you where 10 people are standing and say, please ma'am, have apple. Can you eat that apple? You will keep looking at it. You will keep cursing me. Doesn't she know that it has to be cut into pieces and given? But if I nicely slice it, remove the core of the apple, and if I find the skin is too thick, I take care that I remove the skin as well, because I'm serving it, in front of 10 people. And then you eat it with style. So think of everything like that, teachers. It is not that these things apply only at home. When you stitch a garment or when you do any activity, you start from the basic, isn't it? And go up. If you want to, those days I went and learned tailoring. Those days it was important. Parents said, "Bhaiya, tailoring seeko, embroidery seeko." I could do embroidery, tailoring, I could knit. Okay. So what that lady would do, she will give you loads of newspaper and she will say, kato. Square kato, itne centimeter ka, itne inch ka. And for days, no, she will make you work with that newspaper. Rectangle kato, straight kato, curve draw karo kato. Kyunki, see, if you have to learn to stitch a blouse, you should know how to cut. I got quite tired. I was, I think, in class 11 or I just finished school. My mom sent me off. Got a nice, hot, weather. And she said, go and learn tailoring. I came back and told her, no, I won't. She's doing this. My mother said, that's the right way. Go back. Those days, mothers were also like that. Not like today. Okay, beta, teacher ne aise bola. Chalo, main karwa deta hu. Main karwa deti hu. Teacher gandi hai. Right? My mother said, go back. And sure enough, I learned up to blouse. I can stitch a blouse. Now you ask me to stitch, I don't know. But yeah, I haven't forgotten the skill because it's a skill. So we have to develop the language skill, teachers. Then your children will really, really bless you and thank you for doing what you're doing to them. Okay. Oh my goodness. I am going into a tangent. So these are the closing and basically the points. You remember I talked about it earlier also. Yeah. So revise and edit. Go through the rough draft. Now revise and edit can be one competency by itself. You can give them rough drafts itself and say, do it. See, there is this acronym called CUPS: capitalization, usage, punctuation, spelling. It's called CUPS. Okay. Okay, descriptive writing, right? How to choose a book, explain how to make a sandwich, process writing. Okay, basically narrative, opinion, story writing, descriptive writing, informative writing. What do you know about your first name? Write 3 facts about an animal that you saw in the zoo. Describe someone you know is very different than you. Okay, so you can have range of topics like this. Using graphic organizers, structure, right? When you're doing descriptive writing, you can use graphic organizers. I showed you that earlier. Describe parts, qualities, features. So you're describing, let us say, a room. So the size, the light. So you describe qualities, well-lit room, okay, big room, small, dingy. In comparison, my bedroom is bigger, okay, keywords. Teach them all this. For example, characteristics, for instance, such as is like, including, to illustrate. I'm surprised people are even entering now, Himani. Close to 5.
Yeah, so next time teachers, this will be one of the things that we'll not admit anybody after half the session. Doesn't make sense.
Correct. So I told you about this data analysis. Now this is class 10 expectation by the board to be able to analyze this data. Okay. Digital devices purchased across years in Rishu Nagar. 2015, see how it is going up. Now this data has to be described by students. Now suddenly in class 10, how will they do this? If things have not been done properly in earlier classes. How to attempt such questions? Data that is provided. What is provided? Digital devices purchased, smartphones and computers. Device purchased in thousands on y-axis, data provided for years. Okay, break it. Teach them like this. What is the task? To interpret the given. How to write such tasks? How to write? Take one of the devices and write about its journey in para 1. Talk about phones, for example, in one paragraph. From 2015, this was the numbers purchased, and in 2016, this was purchased. So the numbers increased by this many percentage. Take the second and write. Third para, compare and draw conclusion. So the bar graph provided provides data on the purchase of 2 digital devices in India. The devices are smartphones and computers. In the year 2015, as many as 38,000 smartphones were purchased. It went up marginally in the year 2016 to 42. If we look at 2015, it's close to 80. See, so first paragraph talks about phones, the second talks about computers. Overall, 2018 seems to be the year when both these devices saw a drop in purchase. 2019 saw a phenomenal rise. Vocabulary, phenomenal rise, right kind of collocation. Now in 10th, this is the expectation. This is a good answer that will get you, fetch you almost, full marks. There are no errors, nothing, right? So if this is the expectation, the child also wants this. Please understand. But by the time he grows and when he doesn't have the skill, he only gets irritated. He gets frustrated that he can't write like this. He has forgotten that he never did writing when he was younger. Now you have to make it a habit before they say that we don't want to write. From 3-4 class, you have to make it a habit. So important points to be kept in mind: incorporating data, use of comparatives, systematically presenting data, using adverbs such as steeply, sharply, right? Drawing conclusion. What you shouldn't do, no need to give our opinion on why there is increase or decrease. Data interpretation means simply data interpretation. Probably in 2019, there were many people who did not have jobs. That is why there was less purchase. Please don't give your opinion. The question doesn't ask you for the opinion. Now, these are the kind of tasks that you get in TOEFL and IELTS, and people make a mess of them. Okay, so this is again another question, right? Ban on single-use plastics is impractical. I took it from the board paper. This question is from 2021 board paper, teachers. So let us break. So proposition, what's the proposition? Ban on single-use plastic. So I told you, the statement, right? That is the statement. It is not the question. Argument: the purpose of articles like bags and packaging is ultimately to make human life easier. Plastic articles do this well, so they shouldn't be banned. That is one argument. Analysis: ban is not impractical. Why? Point to weaken this argument. Like this, you have to break it. What are the points in favor? What are the points against? Then the picture clearly emerges in front of the child's eye. Okay, so this is a sample answer. I mean, I can hold it on for 30 seconds. You people can read it.
One thing that you mentioned why people are reading is
Mm.
and is very appropriate is that even when I was a child and as a student, when we had to write data analysis or an interpretation questions, we used to fear it so much that the moment you would see data, you run out of thought.
Correct.
When you are doing, like, we would only see, okay, rise and the fall. And that's it. That
Correct.
would come in one sentence. And then
Correct.
we would keep struggling that what to write in other sentences.
Mm.
So for teachers, I am just giving you a student's perspective that that's where, students
Yeah.
fall short.
Correct.
That you don't know. Okay, I see, you'll see the highest peak. We saw the highest was in 2015. Then the
Mm.
lowest was in 2017. And that's it.
Yeah.
Then we don't know how to compare and contrast. So if you
Correct.
see a sample answer like that, I think it will help the students also to begin thinking. And
Yeah.
then these kind of essays would freak you out so much that the
Correct.
moment you see a graph, you forget everything else.
Exactly. Exactly. See, the ability to expand on an argument, the ability to talk about it is totally not there.
Not there.
Yeah. See, what are the important aspects to analytical writing? To clearly understand the proposition and the argument. What is the statement and what is the argument? So see, you all do it today. People do it at workplace. I have my little board here, okay, which I use, on which I put down points. So putting things in bulleting. All these are techniques, teachers. All these are steps. Teach them all this. Ask them to put steps in bullets. See, make them comfortable using their notebook, their pen, and or pencil. They should be writing in the class, not just looking at you, staring at you, and listening. Right from day one, develop the habit of writing. Their hands, otherwise, they will lose the use of fingers. They will become vestigial organs. Mind you, they are all typing. Even today, I can sit and write for 3 hours. Because first, everything I actually write. And then I transfer it to a slide. Even today, I do that. All my PPTs are first written. Himani, can you beat it?
That even for me, whatever I have to discuss, even before making an Excel, I write it down.
Yeah,
Because once I've
exactly.
written it, it's easy. It's easier
Yeah.
to think while you're writing. It's very
Exactly.
difficult to think when you're
While
typing.
you're typing, exactly.
Yes, your brain kind of stops.
Stops. So teachers, please, I'm sure you all face these things. So when we are facing it as adults, I'm sure you don't want your students to face, right? So now everything comes back. See, fluency, coherence, choice of words, all this we discussed. But all that will happen only when they have understood the task they have accomplished. Okay. Now, recapitulation, writing as a skill, importance of teaching the process of writing, steps to create good piece of writing. That's what we discussed. We looked at different types of writing in brief, assessment, fluency, coherence. Even if somebody wakes you up from sleep, I'm sure you all know. MCQs, we saw how you break it, right? And long answer board questions for writing. I showed you those two. Those are from 10th board. Experience is the teacher sent by life to help you raise the bar of your maturity. Let your awareness help you to not only mature out of that experience, but also regain your centeredness. Get ready for a higher challenge. So teachers, this is our challenge, right? We have to get ready for the higher challenge. Okay. And nothing is challenging. See, the CBSE is talking about subject enrichment activity, competency-based assessment. Okay. So how do you do all this? You can even use Scrabble tiles, and you can give them Scrabble tiles and ask them to make words, use those words. See, you have to be constantly thinking, come up with activities. First time when I went into a school in Delhi, where I had to, that was after I moved from Hyderabad, where I was working, and the group was small. Here I get into a class and I have some 42, 43 sitting out there, right? So I started actually with teaching poetry. Okay. So I totally converted that poem into 50 questions. I still remember. I never looked at the back of the poem, what questions were there. I read it, I converted it, I wrote it with my hand, gave it to a photostat guy, got 200 copies because I had to go to 5 sections, and then gave them just made them listen to the poem again and again, again and again. I recorded it on a cassette. Those days we used to get recording cassettes. Took my own player with batteries, because if the school says no batteries, no wire, nothing, I took care of all those things which could be hindrance in my way, which could stop me from doing what I was planning. I just kept on playing the poem. I stood quiet. So classroom management happened because they were listening to the voice on the cassette. Again and again, when they listened, they developed some little bit of intonation, that style, where to pause, etc. Then I said, now you read. I made some of them read. Then I said, do silent reading. By that time, actually, they had understood the whole poem. Then I said, okay, take this worksheet. Do answer all the questions. If you have a problem, stop. Don't answer. Go to the next. It took me only 2 periods and I had not shouted at all in the class. And the whole class was absolutely in alert position, waiting for me, because what will be her next instruction? What will she say next? Okay. The class should be doing, they should be doing the work. But what you should be doing, planning for it. You should. So with that, I end the session.
Ma'am, a lot of 5-star last replies, last chatters. Wow, all 5-star goes to Sudha ma'am. Thanks a lot, ma'am, for your time. So, ma'am, there were 2 questions. The latest one is, can we use personal opinions and views of an individual on any particular topic in article writing?
See, I mean, unless and until it's a very controversial topic, okay? Should children be drinking aerated drinks? Okay, should we have aerated drinks in the school canteen? Okay, all these are very, very, non-controversial questions. So that's fine as long as the questions are non-controversial. But don't make anything about writing in the classroom as controversial. See, even in the board, when papers are set, so many people go through it to ensure that it is not hurting the sentiment of any people. So all that has to be definitely taken care of. I won't say that, and don't be very vociferous about your opinion. Teach them to moderate. As such, we are living in a society where people are all the time expressing very strong opinions, leading to unnecessary backlash on social media platforms, etc. So teach them to moderate their opinions, okay?
Ma'am, there was another question. I'm just scrolling up. Can we use this for interpretation? Look for ways to compare the different sections of the chart. Use comparative adjectives, adjective plus ER, superlative adjectives, adjective plus EST. Use more than or less than.
Yeah. I mean, you can give such questions, but be very clear whether these things will be used by them. Okay, that is kind of giving a little support. No harm. Give them, use these to compare, use these to, sure. Why not? That's
Okay.
it?
Yes, ma'am. We had these 2 questions.
Okay. Now I can only keep seeing messages. Thank you, everyone.
A lot of thanks, a lot of, ma'am, just scroll up. There's so much of appreciation all about that. There have been so many thank yous that this is lost. So there were 5 stars and they were the best trainer ever. So all of those, I was reading as they were going up.
Okay. Mala Sharma. Okay, amazing session. Thank you, Shweta. Thank you. Okay. I will be very happy if you can use these pointers in your class. That is very, very important. Okay.
Ma'am, MCQ, can you show it once?
No, I think somewhere that slide has got deleted. I'll probably share it with you separately. You can put it in the Commune group. I did.
Right.
Sure, whosoever put that, we can.
It was Jayanti Shrikant.
Jayanti, I will share it with Himani ma'am and she will share it. Yeah, Jayanti Shrikant, I'll do that. And I think when I was working on the slides yesterday, organizing and as usual, always wanting to add something. I think that MCQ got deleted.
Thank you, dear ma'am, for a lovely session. Every session is a great learning.
Anuja Desai, the King School, Goa. Wow. Okay.
Ma'am, today we have people from across the globe. There are people from UK. There are people
Wow.
from Middle East. We have people from
Oh.
India across the country. Yeah.
Wow.
So in fact, Middle East we've always had, but
Wow.
so today we also UK, and I think there's somebody from Andaman also.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
so nice.
So the word spreading and people want to, and it's a great learning. I am very happy with this group of teachers, ma'am. And it, it feels very fulfilling every time I do this session, because they actually listen, and you see from the revert, from their feedbacks,
Right.
that they are actually understanding, and they,
Yeah. Sure.
so it's a very receptive group.
Yeah.
You feel you're doing something right.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Yeah, that's what we want. See, today at this juncture, when implementation has become the order of the day, and CBSE, actually there's going to be a session by CBSE for principals on how to implement, the NEP. So it's getting there. That being awaiting for many more. Amrija Pathak. Sure, dear.
They are from, he or she, I'm so sorry. She's from UK.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So,
We have Andrew
looking
School.
forward for more webinars from Sudha ma'am. Her webinars are just amazing, meeting all the queries without even asking. Thank
Ma'am,
you.
this is a feedback I've always got from Anupama ma'am from Punjab. Anupama ma'am, there's nothing to laugh even I'm from Punjab.
Yeah.
I understand we are very, ma'am, lively and happy people.
The facilitator has made sure we get competent Himani.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And this is a feedback for you. Everybody, every time, ma'am, I get that we don't. I asked a couple of
Any
teachers. I said, you
questions?
never have questions. Says, ma'am, exactly answers our questions.
Okay.
So we're just able to touch the right nerves at all times.
Because see, I've been there, in that field, and I have risen. So I exactly know what people are looking for.
What people?
Because I have been in the same boat. I have had those questions. Somewhere, I think, without my realizing, subconsciously, I tend to include it in the presentation. We actually recently did a session for a software company, and that is when they shared all what I was actually telling you, Himani, in the session. All right, everyone. All right, team Madhuban.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
I can leave, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. God bless all of you, and a lot of best wishes for the new session. Like the strip idea of writing a story. Yes, please try it. Would help the introvert to participate. I totally agree. God bless you, ma'am. Roshni Swami, thank you so much.
I'm so happy. It's a wonderful group. Thank you, teachers. Enjoy your weekend. We've shared the feedback link again and again with everybody.
I know you've shared it. Yeah,
yes. For the people who want it on WhatsApp, we'll share it on Monday. Right?
So, Himani, we'll catch up.
Yes, ma'am, we'll end the session. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, educators. Thank you.